Reo Hatate has dropped the clearest hint yet that he wants to leave Celtic this summer, and his own words make it very hard to argue with that conclusion. We have also got Chris Sutton delivering his verdict on whether Benjamin Nigron will stay or go. Alistair Johnston named in the World Cup team of the group stage alongside some of the best players on the planet. Callum McGregor sending a message about his Celtic future on day one of pre-season, and Sutton firing a brilliant dig at Graham Souness over comments that came back to haunt him. Big morning, let's get into it. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Chris Sutton has given his verdict on whether Benjamin Nigron will leave Celtic this summer, and his gut feeling is that the club's top scorer will stay despite the interest that has been building around him. Nigron finished last season as Celtic's Player of the Year, scoring 21 goals in his debut campaign in Scottish football. That kind of return from a central midfielder does not go unnoticed, and his World Cup involvement with Sweden has raised his profile further. After Sweden were knocked out by France in the round of 32, Nigron was asked about his Celtic future. His response was simply, "We'll see." Two words that set supporters on edge immediately. Sutton addressed the situation directly in Record Sport, saying, "It's funny, Nigron was signed by this point last year by Celtic. A rare piece of early-ish business in a window, and is it any coincidence he settled so quickly into the setup and hit the ground running due to the fact he got a pre-season with his team? I'd say not. Nigron has his failings, he's not perfect, but 21 goals from a midfield player in the first season at any new club was a terrific return. It has attracted some interest, but my gut feeling is he'll stay, especially if Arne Engels and Reo Hatate depart the midfield scene, which at this stage seems highly plausible. That last point is the key one. If both Engels and Hatate leave this summer, Celtic cannot also lose Nigron without leaving themselves dangerously short in central midfield. His contract runs until 2030, which puts the club in a strong position. No club will take him cheaply, and Celtic will only consider a sale if the number is genuinely transformational. Sutton's read on the situation seems right. Nigron, for now, looks set to stay. Now for the main story, as Reo Hatate has made it very clear where his ambitions lie, and for Celtic supporters, his latest comments will make for uncomfortable reading. Speaking to Fergus, the Japanese midfielder opened up on his desire to play in one of Europe's top 5 leagues. He said, "I would like to challenge myself in one of the top 5 leagues. I am not saying I am satisfied, but I have had the opportunity to play in the Champions League and other high-level leagues, but I still haven't been able to play at such a high level for an entire season. I still have that desire to play there. I would like to play in one of the top 5 leagues, and if possible, in the Europa League or Champions League. My goal is to be able to play in a league where I can do that." Those words are not a transfer request, but they are about as close as a player can get to one without formally asking to leave. Hatate has been at Celtic since January 2022 and has given the club a lot over those 4.5 years. He has played in Champions League and Europa League football in Glasgow and has shown he can handle those occasions when he is sharp. His view is that there is still another level for him to reach. Last season told a complicated story. He made 47 appearances across all competitions, but started just 19 of his 28 league games and played only 34 minutes across 2 substitute appearances during the top 6 split. The end of the campaign saw him increasingly on the periphery. A player of Hatate's quality should not be disappearing from big games. Whether that was down to form, injury, or selection, the result was the same. Celtic cannot afford to let this situation drag on. If Hatate has made his mind up, the club needs to know and needs to act. Letting him run down his contract or drift into next season without clarity would be a mistake. In other news, Alistair Johnston has been recognised as one of the standout performers of the World Cup group stage after being named in Transfermarkt's team of the group stage. The Celtic right-back was included alongside some of the biggest names in world football. Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland were all in the same XE, and Johnston took his place among them based entirely on the quality of his performances for Canada at the tournament. Johnston has played every single minute of Canada's 4 games so far. The co-hosts have won 3 of those 4 matches and booked their place in the round of 16. His consistency throughout has been exactly what you would expect from a player who has become one of the first names on the team sheet at Celtic, regardless of who the manager has been. One detail that caught the eye was his listed market valuation alongside his name, €8 million. For a player of his quality, a full Celtic first-teamer under contract until 2029, who is now competing with the elite of international football, that figure feels well short of his real value. Celtic handed him a 5-year contract in November 2024, and that deal looks increasingly smart with every week of this tournament. With a significant rebuild ahead and pressure on several players to deliver next season, Johnston is exactly the kind of player Celtic cannot afford to lose. He is reliable, consistent, experienced, and still only 27. 9 trophies and counting since arriving from CF Montreal in January 2023. He belongs at the top of this squad. In other news, Callum McGregor has returned to pre-season training at Lennoxtown, and his first comments back set the tone perfectly, with the Celtic captain sounding relaxed, refreshed, and ready to go again. Asked how his body was feeling after the opening sessions, McGregor said, "Yeah, good actually, just in time for the thunderstorms as well. It's good to be back, see everybody, see the coaching staff, and get to work." He was also asked about his summer break. "It was great actually, lots of sunshine, a bit of family time, so it was nice to just reset and get ready to come back again. So here we go." Those comments matter more than they might seem. McGregor's name had been linked with a move to Al Qadsiya in Saudi Arabia to reunite with Brendan Rodgers. His return to Lennoxtown and the ease with which he spoke about getting back to work sends a clear enough signal. He is back in the building, he is engaged, and the speculation around his future has not visibly affected him. As skipper, the standard McGregor sets in pre-season shapes the group around him. The squad is still waiting for the first signing of the summer, and there is genuine frustration among supporters at the lack of transfer activity. But having the captain back on the grass and switched on is exactly the start the club needs as the weeks before competitive action begin to run down. Lastly, Chris Sutton has fired a brilliant dig at Graham Souness over comments made about Celtic during the club's famous 2003 UEFA Cup run, and the story is as entertaining now as it was back then. Celtic's journey to the Seville final remains one of the greatest European campaigns the club has produced in the modern era. Martin O'Neill's side beat some serious opponents along the way, including Liverpool at Anfield, to reach a final that still stings for supporters who lived through it. One of the most memorable chapters along the way came in the second round against Blackburn Rovers, then managed by Graham Souness. After Henrik Larsson's late goal gave Celtic a 1-0 first leg win at Celtic Park, Souness made the extraordinary claim that it had been men against boys out there on the pitch. It did not age well. Celtic went to Ewood Park for the second leg and won, completing a 3-0 aggregate victory to knock Blackburn out of the competition in style. More than 2 decades on, Sutton, who was one of the boys allegedly outclassed that night in Glasgow, was asked about it on the warm-up podcast. He said, "It was really good when we beat Blackburn, the men against boys." Not a clever thing to say from Souness. I know why we did it, because it was Celtic. That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Hail, hail.